What's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Today we get back to it, dirt bike day. So we just did a quick series on a go-kart so my kids could ride. They really love it. Might do some upgrades on that one too. Maybe we won't film it, maybe we'll just do it and you won't know anything about it. But today we are back to dirt bikes. Right behind me I got a new PW80. I know we did some work on the PW80 back there, but still waiting on parts, and I'm actually going to get in contact with the parts supplier today because all I had on order yet was a reed valve assembly and an exhaust. And I know the exhaust was on back order, but it's been a long time and I still haven't got them. And I think I've given them enough time, even with the old COVID going on. I might get in contact with them. So today we're going to work on this guy, and I picked this up and the guy said it wouldn't turn over. So when I picked it up, I went out to check it out and I was able to get it to turn over. And while I was looking at that, I noticed that he had the oil injection unhooked. That's another one of these, but this one actually has the entire assembly intact. Has the whole pump there. It has all of the actually has the reservoir, unlike our first one that didn't have this tank here underneath the seat. It has some supply lines, so I'm not worried about that. Maybe we'll replace those. But it was disconnected, so maybe we'll break into that, see how that looks. If it looks like it's in bad shape, we still have the parts from all the old pump. Might be able to use those. But we should break into this and see why it won't turn over and see what the issue is there. I'm hoping it's just a little seized up because it's been sitting a while. Maybe we can do a quick top end cleaning and we should be good. So first, all we're going to do is get all these plastics off because I think this one I want to shine up a little bit. So maybe we'll sand these down and buff them up, make them look good again. So without much more talking, let's get started. Alright, before I get breaking this down, I already took off the front fender. I want to show you a quick tip that I like to use. I have a nifty little parts organizer here. What I like to do is keep mine labeled, right? I got the first two was the front fender bolts I took off. So I labeled it 1 through 18, and I have my notebook here 1 through 18. So number 1, front plastics. There it is, number 1, front plastics. I have a hard time losing, or a hard time keeping track of everything. I don't have a hard time losing it. I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. You could ask my whole family. So just a quick tip. I want to show you guys that and how I keep my stuff organized. Maybe it could help you out too. But let's get the rest of this bike broken down. Alright, we got all the plastics off. And pretty much how I said, right? There was number 10s everywhere on all of the plastics except for these two airbox mounts here. They were actually 12s, and the screws that go in the actual airbox. So I got all the plastics off, including the tank. Took the airbox apart, pretty dirty in there. It also didn't have the foam filter. But there's all of my parts, and there's all of the description of what's in each one. And buddy just wants outside so bad, but it's raining, so I'm just trying to let him hang out with me. So now that we got it broken apart, one thing I can see, I know they're not using this, but there's a little bit of oil. I think he snuck out through the bottom. Anyway, there's a little bit of oil in there, so maybe at some point they use it and then, I don't know, ran out. But you can see it, the level is just below this feed. And the only reason I think that they just unhooked it and we're running mix, hopefully, we could just be straight up bust on this one. But they have everything unhooked, so I think this person had a little bit of an idea what they were doing. So we're going to hope for that. Carb's pretty beat up, but this one is a genuine carb on here, so that's a good sign. A lot of the rest of it's just it's real dirty. So you can see there, the shocks were good. Tires were in good shape. Not the greatest, but they're not dry rot complete crack. But you can see a crack running down the center line of this one. But it wasn't around the whole tire. There's a little bit here, and there was another spot, a couple spots, but some there. And the rear one wasn't like that as much, but it was a little bald, or balding. I mean, you're not going to win any races with that, but you should still be able to ride it. Everything in here is smooth. I checked the gear, so it shifts. We shift all 3 gears. So there's second, then we kick into third. We're at the top. So everything looks good from this standpoint. I'm going to go ahead and get it I'm going to go ahead and start with the top end here. We're going to go ahead and take this off. If you didn't see the video I did before about a top end rebuild, go ahead and check that out. I'll link that up above. But I'm going to pull this off here, and then I'm going to see if I can get the engine to turn over, and we'll see what we got from there. So let's get to that. Alright, so I got the head off, and there's some stuff on this I've never seen before on the inside. If you look in there, those are just wicked dents, chips. Like you can stick your fingernail. I mean, you can see them on camera there, but that's just my fingernail getting caught. That's a big one. The biggest one's right there. That thing's huge. And if you look over here at the piston, what in the world was going on here? If you have any idea what this is from or what it could be from, my only guess is maybe dirt or junk or something got in there, or maybe it was running no oil or too lean. You know what? I really have no idea. If you guys know, go ahead and let me know in the comments there. But it looks like we're gonna need a new top end on here. This didn't help yet with that issue. Right there is where it gets stuck, loose, and there it's the top. It's that top stroke. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with in here. I feel like there's a big gouge. Can't see that, but let's go ahead and get the cylinder off and see what that looks like. Alright, check it out. Got the cylinder off. Oh, look, dirt. But look at this piston. I don't know how well you can see this, but this thing is covered in score marks. They just go straight up and down the entire length of the piston. If you look in the cylinder, though, it's really not that bad except for one giant one. I've never seen one that big. Right there. So I have no idea what's going on here, but we're definitely going to need some top end work. But we still have some issues on the inside here because we still have some catching somewhere in there. I don't know. Let's see if we can get a light on this real quick. Alright, let's see if we can see in there with a light. Oh, that's pretty rough in there. I don't know if we're going to be able to see. There it is, a little better. It's a little dirty in there. I guess it's not terrible, but I'm going to see if I can see what's rubbing. But that, right there, that stroke from that part down, when it's in the forward spot, right there, and the crank's at the top, to right there. So there's something in that range that's preventing us from, it's not preventing, it's just catching there for a second. Let's see if there's any play here. I don't really feel any. And if you look in there, not moving a ton. So we'll get the rest of it off and figure this out. Alright, so I tried to do as much as I could in here. I think we're just going to go ahead and have to bite the bullet here and break this engine down. So before we get to that, you can just look how dirty it is everywhere. So we'll just do an entire breakdown of this one. Probably won't do that on video. Like I said, we did that before. If you want to check that out, go ahead and look that. Link should be up above. But one thing I did notice, so there's not a ton of play on this, the connecting rod here. Not anything like, here's our original on our first PW80 project, and that one has a ton. So we're not in that problem there, but I'm not 100% sure yet what's going on in there and why we're sticking. So we're just gonna go ahead and get everything taken off, get the engine off of here, and then while we have the engine off, we'll probably clean the rest of this up, make it look nice. Then we'll pop the engine up on the table and see what we got going on. So let's get this all apart and we'll start that. Alright, last thing before we get this engine taken off and up on the table. One thing I noticed when I was emptying this, you can't really tell now, but if you look in there, this is some of the cleanest used oil I've ever seen. So, I don't know what that means, but if I had to guess, the last guy got it from either got it from a guy who didn't know what he was doing, or he didn't know what he was doing, and they figured, I'll just put fresh oil on it, and this thing should start right up. and just kept trying to start it, and then it never started, and then they just gave up and decided to sell it off. So that's where we are on that. I can't think of any other reason why that oil would be as fresh as it is. So I just want to share that with you. Next thing, we're just going to get this off, and when we come back, we should have the engine up on the table. Maybe I'll do a little break. Maybe I'll film it and see if I can figure out what was wrong, and I'll show you that clip, and then we'll just go ahead and start fixing it and getting everything put back together. Let's get going. So here's our crank, and my goodness, that thing is just coated. This side's smooth, and this side's just super rough. So I'm wondering if it was just stuck up, either forward or up, and it just sat and sat and sat and filled with water, and just really ate away at this part of the crank. But we're gonna go ahead. Maybe we'll try and smooth that down, grind it down smooth, and reuse it. But if you look in the other side of the case here, this bearing's pretty much shot. Barely wants to move. So we'll get new bearings, we'll get new seals, and that's probably going to be the only thing. Look in there, it looks like we're cooking and mixing oil and water. We got crazy bubbles. So there it is. That looks like it's going to be our issue, so we'll go ahead and get that cleaned up. Like I said in the last one, there we go. We're using our puppy pad. Love them. Keeps everything clean. Helps me see everything as well. So that'll do it. Let's get that. Let's wait for those parts to come in, and we'll get this thing back together. Alright, after about an hour or so of work, we got the bike broken down. There it is. That's probably about as far as we're going to go with all this. I like the way the front wheel and spokes and rim look. The tire was okay. It holds air. It holds its shape. So probably going to keep it as is. The rest of this we just want to clean up. There's not really any damage. It just all needs cleaned up pretty good. These rear, I don't know what you call them, mounts for the seat and the fenders, they're in pretty good shape. Actually, this one might be an add-on weld on, or it was just real rusty. I don't know. Actually, that looks like an additional piece. So at some point they welded that on, which may be why this side was missing the screw, I think, when we took it apart. But nonetheless, the rest of it's dirty. We're gonna get this super clean. I mean, it's super caked down there. We're gonna get this cleaned up, get it looking nice and fresh. And then we got all our other parts just sitting on the side. There's the rear end. I'm probably gonna take that a little farther apart, get that nicer. The rear rim's real dirty. That whole swing arm's pretty dirty, so we'll get that cleaned up. Get the handlebars off. Those look pretty good. The exhaust, the silencer there feels super heavy. I don't know if it's supposed to feel that heavy or if we're just full of gunk. So we'll check that out. Airbox, oil tank, rear shock, carb. I didn't check that out yet, but I think it's in decent shape. Head and cylinder, probably going to end up replacing that. And the piston, and then like I showed you guys before, keep all my stuff organized there. I got everything in each number, and then I got my notebook here. Tells me everything that's in each number. I think that's a super easy way to keep things organized, and it really helps me when I go back to putting these all back together, because not all bikes are the same, and some bolts go in different places on different bikes. Even the same bike, different year, might have one or two bolts different. This one, the PW80, I think is pretty much the same from like 1986 to like 2002. So we might not see too much difference there, but just in case, I always have that to back up on. And I also have a little, I don't think I took all video, but I like the video at 2. Take lots of pictures to help me put these all back together. So that's probably going to do it for today. The next video I'll probably start off, we'll get everything washed. Hopefully I'll have that engine broken into, and I'll show you, I'll film that so I can see what's wrong with it and I can stop it, or just put it in the next video and show you what was wrong with it. Then we'll figure out exactly what parts we need, get those ordered up, and then we'll get everything cleaned up, looking nice and fresh, and we'll get this baby back together. So I'm hoping this is just a 2-part video. So make sure you guys tune in for the next one. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys later.